You've got a special treat for us here. Let's get
Oh yeah, Coco. I gotta check this out. I'm gonna get a special treat. We're gonna go back in time a little bit here.
Okay.
All right, Coco. We're gonna go back in time and we're gonna check out a deal with your dad here.
Okay.
The year is 1979. The Redskins are playing the Philadelphia Eagles. And you guys had played each other already one time. Now, I want you to take in this post-game, the game, the graphics, and this is 42 years ago.
Okay.
That'll do it. So it is history. It was all Philadelphia 2 weeks ago, and it is all Washington today. And the Redskins and the Eagles now have an identical record of 6 victories and 2 defeats.
6 and 2.
As George Allen said, and the words really hang in the air, it is so very, very difficult for one team to beat another twice. Darren Talbert showing how happy Washington is. The NFL on CBS will...
Richie Pettibone.
Ronnie Saul. Look at old Ronnie. Look at Ronnie. Look at Ronnie limping off. The Warrior.
Oh, yeah. You said it's 1979.
79.
After this word...
Yeah, there's Ronnie.
Wow.
There's the Toad.
Who's the Toad?
I thought that was Tom Owen.
It was number 12.
Was it Tom Owen? You've done your research here?
CBS Sports.
California is about to crack down on a doctor involved in what the state says could be the biggest medical fraud ever. But the doctor is still practicing. How come? Watch 60 Minutes tonight at 7, 6 Central and Mountain on CBS.
Same promos. Now check this post game out.
You are looking at the strong visage of one Jawnnn Riggins,
God.
30 years old, 9 years out of
I
Kansas.
didn't recognize myself.
Going into
No, you look like you don't know where you are.
Robert Montgomery's name was on everybody's lips.
You look
And coming
confused.
out of it, it's Jawnnn
I
Riggins.
am. I've always been confused.
John, congratulations.
Thanks, Vince. I can tell you right now,
It's the
though,
same
that
voice.
a lot of those yards are with the offensive linemen. We had a little bit different scheme today than we had 2 weeks ago up there. I suppose you noticed we run the veer play where we start like we're going to go outside and then we cut it back. And that play probably got as many yards as all the rest of them put together.
Well, 2 weeks ago, you ran
Vin Scully.
15 yards, veer or no.
Weren't you the voice of the Dodgers year
Yes.
for years?
Makes you think I'd want to play Philadelphia every week, but that isn't quite true. They got a good defense. But the 34,
My teeth
I
look
suppose,
good.
if you go out,
Yeah.
I understand
No,
they
you
got
look
on the ground,
good.
which we were fortunate enough to do today.
Oh, look, you got a
Nice
drip of sweat
Your
coming
own
down.
Personal
You've been
history
working
books.
hard.
You also ran for your highest total, 97 yards in one game last year against guess who?
Right, the Eagles.
Yeah.
I loaded up with buckshot for the Eagles.
I tell you what, you're going to have your picture on the walls of the post offices in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Now, let's get back to that 3-4. George Allen is right here. John, I know
And I have hair.
George Allen.
Congratulations. Heck of a
Curly hair.
game.
Thanks,
And it's
George.
dark.
I haven't heard this voice for a while.
Yeah. What?
Ooh, now you look all
George Allen.
That's what was throwing me off.
Yes.
Because they said his name in the beginning. I'm going, well, he wasn't a coach in 79.
Yeah, he was the broadcast. He was the broadcast booth with Vin doing color.
He was doing the color. I'll be darned.
Yeah.
You look all
And I don't even
macho.
remember this.
Really?
I don't remember doing this post-game interview.
And wait till you see how long this thing is.
Huh?
Apparently they had to fill because this is one of the longest post-game on-field interviews I've ever seen. He's got your dad's got the neck
I was
brace
thinking the same
rolling.
thing.
Yeah.
He's got the Fu Manchu going.
No, that's what I'm saying. He looks so much.
And you know what? It's perfect. That's why I got a neck brace, but you see, it didn't do me any good. I can't really move my neck.
Maybe that's where your neck problems come from.
That was the beginning.
Listen to George Allen, your ex-coach, and his questions and the high praise he has for you.
Good shape. What are you weighing?
Just right at 230, maybe a little under. I was sick this week, and so I lost a couple extra pounds because of that, and I had planned on getting my weight down a little bit. I had been over 230 by just a little bit, and I'll tell you what,
You also?
the condition down here today, I imagine it was 80 degrees plus,
Yeah.
and I'm glad I didn't have the extra weight.
Well, you're running really
Sound like a
made
boxer.
difference. I think your ability to run the football and pick up yardage allowed Joe to fake to you with the play action and then throw the football and not be rushed.
Yeah, well, that's the way. I'll tell you what, though, ideally, I think we'd like to get our halfback to get a few more yards so it would take the pressure off myself and Joe as well. Although, in the second half, it seemed, I'm not sure, Benny was doing a good job, and Ike Forte came in and did a heck of a nice job.
Benny Malone?
If we
Yeah,
get a
Benny
halfback
Malone.
running
The
and get
late
as many
Benny
yards as a
Malone.
fullback, we're going to be tough down the stretch.
Manny, he was
Your
rough and tough.
So it was.
Benny could rough your feathers up if you wanted him to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was all out all the time. He was.
And Ike Forte.
Ike Forte, yeah.
Gosh, I don't remember Ike being on the team.
Oh yeah, you remember the name though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think he was with
New England.
Yes,
Yeah, he was with the
exactly.
Patriots.
And then he ended up down here.
I can hear more of your like Midwestern accent.
You
in
say
this,
what?
Too. He has more of like an accent.
He's got a higher
What,
Midwestern
Yeah,
accent.
he's like, wait, I went in down.
That's interesting because we had some workers
I
over
weigh
there.
about 230 right now.
That's where you get it.
Coco does a pretty good young dad.
Dude does a lot of good stuff, like imitating people. We had a guy over there working on the yard, or working on some of the stonework over there by the construction we got going over there. And I'm listening, and I thought there was a woman out there working with the guy. He was, and now I'm sounding like, hey, chocolate,
Mr. Chocolate.
Okay.
All right, so George just getting warmed up with his line of questioning here.
Yards in 19 carries. Benny Malone 24 yards in 12 carries. But what's your high? Do you keep track of how many carries you have in a game?
Well, my high will probably come in about another hour after the ball game.
Nice.
Back at you, George.
Dad shoots and scores.
That's good.
My high will be in about an hour.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Tell him like it
Work
is.
it. Work
Get
it.
Don't blame you. 19 carries even though you were feeling poorly at the start of the game and on a hot day.
Yeah, it was. It was terribly muggy down here, and I suppose the heat isn't as bad as the humidity can be sometime. And being in Washington, this is a humid area, and it took its toll. And I think that even the Eagles felt a little bit of this heat today.
John, I brought out that I felt you were one of the best pass receivers in the league as a running back, as a
Swear you never
fullback,
threw to me.
and that you hadn't caught many passes this year.
Right.
Well, thanks, George, because you totally underutilized me my entire career with you, but thanks for acknowledging me now. Did he not?
Yeah, that goes back to the fact that it goes back to a drop pass in New York years ago. The offensive coordinator, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Walton, and it was probably the year before this. I think it was the year before in '78 we lost a game up there, and that's when they started doing I'd come out on third down. I no longer was a.
Wow.
I was no longer.
You were no longer an option in the passing game.
No,
Right?
and you know what? On the one hand, I kind of was like, I'm fine with this really for the most part, because always you'd always run your route or whatever if you had one to run, and nobody ever threw you the ball.
You're always the check off or the dump
Yeah,
off.
that's why I dropped the ball, because I probably run. I'm like, what? You're throwing it to me? I'm not-
Surprise!
I'm just out here drawing a defender. You're going to throw me the ball. So yeah, that kind of.
I just thought that was rich from George Allen.
Yeah.
Who everybody knew completely mischaracterized your abilities.
Would say, well, but it wasn't that so much as there were other priorities, which was defense
We don't even like stinking
and special
offense.
teams,
Right.
And offense. Don't screw it up.
The way we're working it now, and believe it or not, I kind of like it. I get to come out on third down, and on a day like today, I particularly appreciated it, because if I'd had to go the whole game, you may have to be doing this interview from the trainer's room while I'm packed in ice.
Hey, John, maybe this is an unfair question, but after all, it was in the headlines here in Washington and maybe in Philadelphia as well. In preparing for this game, Jack Pardee was accusing the Eagles of holding in the line. Then Vermeil said, oh, Jack doesn't have any class, or I thought he had more class. They were talking about holding elbows. And we were trying to figure, well, maybe Pardee was just trying to pump you fellas up. And then the first holding call on a running play was against Washington.
Right, well, that's what they call psychological warfare, and I don't know whether it worked or not. I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, when you start something like that, it happens just as you said. You point out the other team's faults, and you end up getting caught for what you was hoping they were going to catch them for.
Well,
Oh,
that's what,
wow.
that's
That
what
was
we
like
brought
double
out.
good.
That was
double good.
That was deep. That's
Spy
Kansas.
versus spy. That's right. That was Mad Magazine. Spy versus
You're
spy.
so philosophical.
Psychological warfare.
Yeah, exactly. Which is still good. The only thing I was missing on was what do they call it nowadays? What do they call it when the warfare nowadays will be fought with computers.
Oh yeah.
What do you call it?
Well, I heard the one where
Cyber?
it's like,
Cyber warfare.
Cyber warfare. It was mental jujitsu right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Was it a very emotional game going in? Pardee
cried the
said
whole
playing
time.
the Eagles is like playing Dallas. And in the first sequence, there were a couple of punches thrown right away. Was it more so than usual?
No, I don't think so. I think we had a quiet type of confidence amongst the team where we didn't need to get ourselves so roused up and, you know, be inclined to, say, start throwing a few fists on the field. I would like to think we went about our job as bricklayers or whatever. We were very methodical. We knew what we wanted to do, and we tried to do it, and from the score, I think we did.
George said that it's almost impossible to beat another team twice, and that certainly held up today.
Especially at home. And, of course, we lost the game up there, and I don't know, I guess all the experts always figure that home field is worth 7 points.
Well, our congratulations to Jawnnn Riggins. Our thanks for the visit. Final score, 17-7, Washington.
I got my money's worth.
Did you have to shave?
By the way, the throwing the punches, anytime that were to occur,
12 seconds.
funky white boys over on the side. I didn't come here.
Did I hear third down? I'm not.
I'm not a boxer. I'm not a fighter. I'm a football player.
Did you have to shave your beard in a certain way to get that mustache?
I think I just shaved the sides of my face. Yeah, I did.
42 years ago, Coco. What do you think of Pops?
Wow, that was, I mean, nothing's changed.
42 years ago, that's 79. I'd have been 30 years
Said you were
old.
30 at the time.
Right, so I was only 13 years older than you.
I mean, nothing's much. I mean, the facial expressions are there. Voice is still kind of there, except it got deeper over the years.
Now he's more Tommy Lee Jones. And
Yeah, right.
He did have the higher Kansas twang there.
Yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, your twang. That's what it did.
Yeah, a little bit. I still got that. You can't get away from it. I always cringe when I see myself doing stuff like that because, like,
Yeah, but
I
that's a
think it's so
good
cute,
Midwestern
though.
accent that people.
I think
It's
I was,
pleasant.
yeah, those kind of videos, I think it's really
I'm
cute
wondering-
when I see him that young. 'Cause,
well, you know, you. Go, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, like, yeah, I think it's cute when I see you that young. You're just a man full of life.
Yeah, and most of it's taken off. All right, guys. I think that's the end of the run. Coco, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You never know. Maybe next week. Particularly, we get swim on.
It's summertime,
Right.
Coco. We expect to see more of you now that you're a landlubber here, and the
Yes.
lifestyles of the rich and famous. We're going to take it down a notch.
Only
this
time I'm
year.
leaving is for college visitations, which we can talk about another time.
Okay,
But
we
even
shall.
that, then I wouldn't be here. All right, guys. That's it for today. Riggo out.